what's going on, everybody? This video here is going to be about Christopher Columbus Day, a day that is known amongst many of American holidays. But what a lot of people don't know is the actual true dark history behind this day, as far as for a known European ambassador who came across the Atlantic Ocean and so-called discovered America when there was already people here, the Native American Indians, the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, that was already native towards this land. Because according to the Bible, when you read the book of 2 Kings chapter 17 to 17, the Lord said that he would put out Israel from the land. And where did those people went to? They went here into North America, because they are the living descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel. Columbus is a man who was, a lot of people don't know, was a European explorer that was commissioned by Queen Isabel and King Ferdinand to find out the exact location where the tribes of Israel were located. And when they found them, according to the journals of Columbus, he took a lot of the natives by force. I'm going to share what you hear on my screen here. This is coming from a book that's titled Black Indians. And I'm going to read where it says where it began with Columbus. This is page 27. For the people of the Americas, the arrival of Columbus was hardly a blessing. On his first day, October 12, 1492, the explorer wrote in his diary, "I took some of the natives by force." He later found the original inhabitants to be tractable, peaceable, and concluded that there is not in the world a better nation. So Christopher Columbus said out of his own mouth that not only did he took these people by force, but he actually seen with his own eyes that these people were very peaceable. Now, what monster would take a race of people that you know to be peaceable and respectable towards you, and you would put them in slavery? Only the devil would do that. And this is actually what is prophesied in the Bible that would happen towards God's chosen people if we were to turn our backs on keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments that is written in the Bible. This is the repercussions of our actions based off what our forefathers have done in history, as far as wanting to turn and give honor and respect towards other people's religions and cultures. And it says his response as a European was to say that Indians must be made to work and adapt to our ways. And that is exactly what they did do. The Italians, the French, the Spanish, they completely raped, murdered, and stole their land and forced them to assimilate into their Western society and towards their way of life underneath the religions of Roman Catholicism, Christianity. There was plenty of Native American Indians that was burnt at the stake, that was raped, and that was burnt on crosses for refusing to accept that white image of Jesus Christ, whom is known according to history as Caesar Borgia. You can check out some of the short videos that I made as it pertains towards the history, what actually happened towards our people underneath the Spanish and the conquistadors. So I'm going to continue to keep reading. It says, Christopher Columbus, whose unique seamanship and courage have opened the Americas to European penetration, also began the translated slave trade. So that's also where so-called black people, so-called African Americans, where we came into play as well, after when they took the Native American Indians as slaves. You even also have, according to history as well, when you had President Andrew Jackson, to where he led the commission for the murder and the extinction there and there of all the Native American Indians, when he led them from south towards west through the Trail of Tears. And this actually happened during the midst of the winter. A lot of them was barefooted. A lot of the elders wasn't able to make it. They died along the way. And at that time, black people were just coming off cargo slave ships in the south when they was moving towards the west. So we were dealing with a beast and with a monster that had no compassion for children, elderly people, and this is what is not being taught in the school system towards our children, because they only are taught they only are taught the brighter side of the story, which is not even true in and of itself. So I'm going to continue to keep reading this book right here. Let me go on back. It says he started by shipping 10 chain Arawak men and women to Seville, Spain in 1498. He wrote to King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella about the business possibilities. From here, in the name of Blessed Trinity, we can all send the slaves that can be sold. When he loaded 1,100 Taino men and women aboard 4 Spanish ships, the crowding in the stormy Atlantic crossing took a fearful toll. So he took indeed a lot of natives by the force of the sword on ships. So, and that is actually according to the biblical records as well, which I'll bring out later. To where he took them on cargo slave ships, just like the same way black people came over on cargo slave ships to and fro from England to Spain, learning Spanish, learning English, learning Portuguese, and having to adapt to the ways of their Western society. This is the dark history that is not taught on Christopher Columbus Day in our school systems, nor even in a lot of these different Catholic schools, to where it was mainly the Catholics that indoctrinated, raped a lot of the native children in these boarding schools, to where they cut their hair, told them not to speak their own native language, and was forced to assimilate towards being a Catholic. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up one scripture here that is coming from the book of Psalms. So here is the book of Psalms, chapter 55, and verse 20. It says, he hath put forth his hands against such that be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. This is speaking about the so-called white man according to the Bible, as far as how he came over here speaking peace unto the natives. But meanwhile, he broke his covenant, meaning he broke the peace treaties that he made with the Native American Indians. I'm going to read verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they strong swords, because he murdered countless natives, countless Hispanics, countless Puerto Ricans, countless so-called Negroes here in this country, just to establish his empire and his country off of the bloodshed, rape, and murder of the Israelites. So that was Psalms 55 as it pertained towards the dark history, as it pertained towards what would happen here in America, as far as for speaking peace unto people that were peaceful towards you, and in turn you murdered them. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up the book of Second Esdras as it pertains towards how Columbus actually found the natives here, and how he actually found America in general.
Why do you wish to sail west?
To open a new route to Asia. Asia is the richest kingdom, the land of spices and gold. At the moment, there are only 2 ways of reaching it. By sea, sailing around the African continent. The journey takes a year. Or by land. But the Turks have closed this route to all Christians. There is a 3rd way. By sailing west across the ocean sea.
The distance is unknown. It's said to be infinite.
Superstition. I believe the Indies are no more than 750 leagues west of the Canary Islands.
How can you be so certain?
The calculations of Toscanelli, Marin de Tir, Esdras.
Esdras is a Jew.
So what's worse?
2 minutes, and already you're a dead man.
For telling the truth?
Yes. We are burning people for less.
Okay, so this here is the book of Second Esdras, chapter 13. I'm going to start at verse 40. It says, these are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of the king. So if you go back and you read the book of Second King, chapter 17 and verse 17, you will see how the Lord removed the 10 tribes of Israel out of the land of Israel for disobeying God and his commandments and turning a culture. And where is it that these people went? We're reading about it right now in the book of Second Esdras, which is from the Apocrypha. This is one of the main reasons why they removed the Apocrypha from the Bible, because they don't want you to read the records, the historical records, not just only where the 10 tribes went, but also along what they also did towards us during the time of the Greeks as well, when you read the book of Maccabees. All right, so I'm going to start again from the top at verse 40. It says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land, which was Israel, and in the time of C, the king, when Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, laid away captive and carried them away and carried them over the waters. So they came into another land. And what was that land? America. Verse 41. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would lead the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where mankind never dwelt, which is speaking about America. 42. That they might keep their statutes which they never kept on their own land. Verse 43. And they enter into Euphrates by the narrow place of the river. Verse 44 says, for the Most High then showed signs for them and helped stood the flood till they were passed over. So the Most High God, he was with them when they was on their way over here, guiding them. I'm going to read verse 45. For though that country was a great way to go, namely a year and a half, in the same region is called Ashereth. The original term for America, before it's called America, was called Ashereth. It's in the Bible. It took a year and a half for the natives to come across the Atlantic to come here into what is called America today, through the way of ships. They didn't came here on a bridge from Asia to America like America would like to teach you, but they came over here on ships. We're reading about it right here out of the Apocrypha. This is from the records of Esdras. You can even watch certain movies and TV shows to where it's rarely even mentioned as far as for the truth in which they would like to bring out as well, as it pertains towards how the natives came across the Atlantic Ocean on ships as well. And this is how Columbus actually found the natives that was residing here in this land. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that there. I'm going to bring up the book of Genesis chapter 49 and verse 19. Okay, so here is the book of Genesis chapter 49 and verse 19. It says, Gad, a troop shall overcome him. What is that troop? It's speaking about the United States cavalry. When they were known for rape, murder, and stealing and pillaging the Native American Indians' land, and by taking it from them by the force of the sword. But he shall overcome at the last. What does that mean? It means that God in these last days is going to overcome the same people that took their land from them, and by taking up their culture again, and by coming back towards the law, statutes, commandments of the Lord, which they refused and threw away when we was in our own land in Israel. They're going to overcome at the last, and by taking up their culture according to the Bible, and by throwing away their philosophies, which was force-fed down their throats in these Catholic boarding schools, in which they was forced up under. So that was Genesis 49 and 19 as it pertains towards the Native American Indians, because they do descend from the tribe of Gad. What you see here currently going on today here in America right now, as far as when Columbus Day comes around every year, you always going to see the Italians, the French, the British, America in general, trying to, in some shape or form, wants to go ahead and give them a pacifier for what has happened to us, our ancestors. And we can't accept a gift from these people. We can't accept an apology, because there is no amount of apology that can amount up towards not just only the rape, murder of your people, but also taking over their land and making peace treaties that they haven't kept, and then force you on reservations for you to survive. The same way that Native American Indians are on reservations today is the exact same way that black people are in the ghettos. The same way that black people are in the ghettos are the same way that Mexicans are living in the barrios. This is how you know that we fit the curses according to the Bible, because nobody fits the curses like us. That's how you know that we are the lost tribes of Israel according to the Bible. Meanwhile, these people that are living over in Israel, claiming to be the real Jews, are actually not fitting what's written it's not actually fitting what's written in the Bible. So when it comes on down towards Columbus Day, it is a day that we shouldn't honor, celebrate, nor commemorate, knowing that the atrocities that was committed against the Native American Indians had yet to receive any kind of justice or reparations to this very day, due to what has happened to their forefathers and what they still suffering right now, to where it's not getting no attention out there in the media, on the news, on the internet at all whatsoever. It's being hush hush because, of course, the American government, they burned thousands of documents in 1973 as it pertained towards the war in Vietnam, when the Native American code talkers served their term to fight for America. And I actually had the chance and experience to meet one in particular. His name was Chief Wanata. He was a code talker during the Vietnam War. He shared with us his experience and his story about the discrimination that he faced in his term of service, and even also when he made it back home. So when it comes on down towards Native American Indians, when you see one, you give them their due respect, because of course they are God's chosen people, along with the other tribes that are still here in America, suffering day and night, just try to survive, to make ends meet. But there is going to come a point in period in time to where Christ is going to come back and gather his elect and bring us back into our rightful land, which is in the land of Israel.